What's up, everybody? This is your boy Lucky Loco with the Lucky Loco Show with Indigenous Talk. Let's keep it real native. Let's keep the spam frying. Let's keep the fry break going. Let's get the fucking hamburger helper going, man. The macaroni and hot dogs, the real Native American, real res meals, man. You know, let's talk about a touchy subject that's some people may not like, but let's talk about the double standards of men. Single fathers. Let's talk about the single fathers. So let's go ahead and talk about how we, as men, we get screwed in the system. Whether the kid, the kid's in danger, the kids, whenever there's anything that goes down, we're the last ones that the system thinks about giving the child to. If there's ever a fight, breakup, every situation's different, man, but men are always left out of the equation of custody. For some weird reason, even though we bring home the bread, do everything a man's supposed to do, but for some reason, we're always deemed as the villains, as all this stuff, man, and it's just it's crazy. Let's talk about a situation that I had to go through. I get custody of my son. Great. Okay, so custody of my son, but I'm still paying child support. It's system, when they get on, EBT and our food stamps and TANF and all this stuff. And so I have to pay all this stuff to get, child support, whatever. And even though I still have them, it was coming out of my paychecks. And it was just like, okay, for the men, there was a few situations to where the interviews were, was I pregnant and all, just all this stuff when you file for TANF, food stamps, and sometimes it's easy for men, but here in Washington State was a little different. They wanted to make sure I wasn't getting survivor benefits from my wife passing away. They wanted to make sure I wasn't getting any kind of per caps. They were, doing all this stuff uh, to make it super hard to get on food stamps. And to be honest, it was like for me and my son was $378, then it was like $356 in food stamps. Now, how people make a living off of that, I have no clue, man. It's rough. I mean, it's better than nothing, right? Because without food stamps, guess what the next step would have been? I'd probably have to go, go shoplift. To be honest, I mean, to feed my child, to feed me. But let's talk about the double standards. So it's super hard to get into that. I went to a housing thing, and they didn't let me in because I'm a man. They didn't want me in a housing projects with a bunch of women. Like, they're not gonna, like, come on now. You know what I mean? It was crazy. There's sometimes you get praise, you get all this different stuff. But as for a man, when it comes to getting that extra help, and I have so many friends that are single parents, single fathers, and people trip out. I had women not want to date me because I had full custody of my son quite a few times. I wasn't able to give that extra 100 or something. I don't know. I really don't care. Like, good riddance. That's cool with me. Hit it and split it and gone. But yeah, the double standards is the system is so messed up. Like, now recently they start putting changing tables into the men's uh bathrooms, public restrooms. Because I remember having to change diapers like it was like on the floor. I was like, fuck, I gotta lay something down and get that done. But the system is so against the man. Like, for instance, if me and my lady, we have a child together and we're trying to get on food stamps, but since I lived with her, I couldn't get food stamps. That she couldn't get food stamps. So in order for them to get the food stamps, even though you're living together, whatnot, I had to leave the household. So what's the biggest problem when it comes to the when it comes to situations like that is not having a father there. Because dads, we matter, bro. We're a big part of a child's life. We are the protectors. We are the providers. We have just a fierce placement to protect our children. And to be, it's a weird, like, if anybody that's been through the system and been through being a single father, it's you don't get a lot of support like a woman does. No fucking questions asked. Women go down there and she'll get her fucking food stamps, get into housing, get into all this stuff, programs, and then they're like, there was an employment opportunity, okay? So they were going to pay for free college for it was like a 12-week program, I think it was, for a nurse to be a nurse. I was like, man, you know what? If it's free college, sure, I'll sign up. But I had a felony, so they said, nah, it's not even worth it. You got to be handled with medication and all this stuff. I was like, okay, why don't you guys help me with the trade? Help me with craftsman, help me with welding, help me with all this stuff. They're like, no. It's like, dang, okay. I went to college for welding anyways, but yeah. For single fathers, man, it's a hard situation. I'm sorry, I know I'm all over the place. So, being denied housing because I was a guy with a bunch of women living there. Like, thinking I'm gonna go make like house visits or, it was just weird, man. Um, but for anybody that's been through it and had, oh my God, I could only imagine the fight in courts when you go in there for just visitations. Like, what the hell is that, man? Right away they think, and then what is a woman gonna do when she's mad at you? She's gonna keep that. You fucking see it all the time. You see the women take, they'll be like, oh, well, he's got a new lady, so I'm not gonna let her around my fucking kids, so he's not gonna see his child, or, you know, depriving these kids of a great father. And it's, I'm not going to say that I was the best person or anything like that, but no matter rich, poor, my fucking love for my kids are unconditional. So with my daughter, this is before, social uh, media, I'm trying to say. She kept my daughter from me, changed her number whenever I tried to reach out. Like, I called the grandma and be like, hey, look, I want to reach my daughter. I want to talk to her. I don't care how much you hate me, how much she hates me. I want to see my daughter and try to get into the system. So with the restraining order against me, the courts were like, well, we can't give you the address. And I'm like, I have birthday presents. I have this. I have that to come see my daughter. I want to see my daughter. She's up in Canada. I'm in Colorado. And they were just like, oh, well, we can't help you. We can't let you know where your kid's at. Your own kid. You know what I mean? It's such a frustrating thing. And then now, when she gets of age, she reaches out and wants to be a part of my life. And she asks the questions, why didn't you love me? And of course, I've loved her. I still do. But now that the mother finds out, hey, through social media, I said, hey, happy birthday, baby, I love you. So I get blocked on Facebook, Instagram, and all this stuff. And then she calls me and was like, well, my mom found out about it. So now she was like, well, you could either go be with your dad and never talk to me again. Total manipulation, man. And never talk to me again. And, painted this fucking picture. And it was crazy. We were kids. I cheated on her. Like, it was nothing to be treated like this. Like, it's just the system's so fucked up and the women are fucked up out there. Not all women, but, that who, you got that fucking cousin, you got that sister, you got that fucking auntie or somebody in your life that does use their children against the dad, which is, man, should be illegal. It should be. It shouldn't have to go through all this fighting just for to go see your kid. And a lot of these great guys, great dads. I mean, you can't ball us all up in thinking that all these men are deadbeats and no, you want to paint this picture there. Don't get it twisted. There is some fucking pieces of shit that just don't give a fuck. They just don't care. Like, with me being a stepdad uh, to my kids here, guy lives right in town. Doesn't come to see him. He came over like last month. Didn't even ask for him. He came and asked for money. And it's um yeah, it should be illegal to use your children against the loving, caring dad just because he cheated or he did this. He's no good for you as a partner, and she's no good for me as a partner, but you're going to punish me for, or a man, because you're jealous. It didn't work out. Hey, fuck that guy. He doesn't deserve anything. And it's a weird system. I hate it. Um, a lot of these dudes, like I on social media, I join these groups, and there's a lot of dads that commit suicide because of the drama, because all this stuff being, waking up every day, like with me and Junior, my kids, being here every day, waking up and being a dad, and like say for instance, me and her break up. You're in an empty house, you're not around your kids, and if she was vindictive and was like, oh well, you're not going to see your kid because you moved on. Um, a lot of these, I think about stuff like that. It's like, what if something happens and the relationship don't work out? Or am I going to be deprived of my kid just because the other parent is like, oh well, he went and found a bitch, or it's a it's a crazy system, man. If you're a single dad, man, going through that shit, prayers to you, brother, man, because it's a hard journey. It's a hard fight, um, and it hurts. And so, just want to say, man, keep your head up. The system's weird, and yeah, I'll get more into it. I'll do more better story than just this. I'm all over the place. I'm just thinking. I had a big old cup of coffee, so I'm just all over the place and just loving life. I am been loving life, and then can't say that it's been like that my whole life, but now this is what I'm doing. So kids are at school. I gotta get out and hustle. Much love and respect to you guys. Lucky Loco loves you. Keep your head up.